Yeah, bestie. Yes, my pants are all the way up here. They're comfy that way, okay? Don't comfort me. So let me tell you about the time I almost died, okay? And we're gonna be doing spooky nails today. So this was based last summer. This was a time where I gained weight like that. Probably 30 pounds in the span of 2 months. I had to go to Mexico, but I didn't have the funds to do so. I was a broke college student. So in my head, I had already made up that I wasn't going, you know? One day before the event, my uncle called me and he's like, hey, you want to ride with me to Mexico? Immediately, I was like, yes, I'll go with you. The problem is, though, I didn't have any clothes that fit me, okay? Not a single fit. Not one. Okay? But I really wanted to go to this event. It was a very important event. Like, I did not want to miss it. And I obviously didn't have time to go to the store because he told me not a day before, the night before we were supposed to leave to Mexico. So the moment my uncle told me, I packed, I drove to his house. I get to his house, we leave to Mexico instantly. The whole ride there, I'm thinking, damn. I knew that I was going to get so much because my clothes were going to fit me tight. I gained 30 pounds, you know, that wasn't my fault. There was just so much going on. Like, I was a student, I was working, and leading up to this event, I had a lot of stress. I was going through a really, really hard time. So, you know, your girl ate. We finally make it to Mexico. We get there the day of the event, okay? So I didn't have time to do my makeup. I didn't have time for anything else. I didn't even have time to do my hair. So I just showered. I put on my clothes, my tight ass clothes. Like, my shirts were fitting like crop tops. My pants were fitting like low rise. You know, it was a hot mess. I had nothing else. There was no other girls. Like, it was just my guy cousin, and he was gonna drive my mom and I and himself to church where this event is gonna take place. I get to the car. My mom's already there with my cousin waiting for me, and she looked at me up and down. She's like, they're not gonna let you in the church looking like that. And I said, I know, but like, what do you want me to do? This was during the summer, by the way, Bessie. Like, the temperature there was between 112 to 119 degrees Fahrenheit. And it wasn't like I could just put on a sweater and like call it a day. You know what I'm saying? It was ridiculously hot. They were going through a heat wave. Shit was crazy. I already knew I was gonna be judged by the tias and tios, but this was more important than my clothes. So then my cousin's starting to drive to the church. I have my makeup bag with me because I'm thinking I got time to do my makeup in the truck. So I asked him, I was like, oh, is the church really far away? And he's like, oh yeah, it's like pretty far. And I was like, lit, I have time to do my makeup. Like, I haven't seen this family in a really long time. Like, I was already looking hella crazy because I hadn't been sleeping for the past couple months. Like, it was crazy, you know, that's why I gained weight too. So I started doing my makeup, and like really slowly, because I'm like, I got time, like, let me do a good job. I'm in a moving vehicle, you know what I'm saying? You know, big ass truck. Like, my cousin's truck is big. Not even 6 minutes passed by, Bessie. And he's like, we're here. You know what I mean? Like, girl, I was like, what do you mean we're here? He starts parking. My clothing is so tight, Bessie. Like, it takes me a while to move around, you know? And he had parked in a way where I was sitting right here. I couldn't go out of this door, so I had to go to the other side to open the other door. So while I'm like scrambling to put my makeup away, he turns off the car. They're in the front. They're already getting out. I'm like trying to wipe off the makeup because I look crazy. And I finally like start sliding over to the other side because it's a big ass truck. My mom and him get out. They close the doors behind them. I'm scooting over to the other side. I'm ready to open the door. I'm like, yeah, I made it. I'm going to get down with them. Like, everything's going to be fine. Everything was not fine. I go to open the door. The door doesn't open. It doesn't open, Bessie. The AC is no longer running in this car. You remember what temperature I said it was outside? Yeah. They're already halfway to the church, okay? They left me. They booked it. Everybody was going inside the church. I'm trying to open this door. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, is it me because I'm panicking? Because it was getting a little hot inside that truck, Bessie, okay? So I try not to panic, right? But I already can't breathe. Like, literally, it took seconds, Bessie, for me to be like, oh my God. I'm not even exaggerating. I literally couldn't breathe because it was so hot and so humid. And I'm claustrophobic. I'm claustrophobic, bitch. So then I'm thinking, oh, it's a big ass truck. I probably have to like open the door a little bit harder. So I'm like yanking on the handle and I'm like, oh my God, it's not opening. And I'm like, okay, don't panic. Check the other doors. I go and slide my ass over to the other door. I'm trying to open the door. It doesn't open. It doesn't open, Bessie. Every second that passes, it's getting hotter inside that big ass truck. I'm gonna put on my gloves because it's time to paint these babies right here. Do I look funny with my gloves? So I'm seeing everybody walking to the church. They're getting farther and farther away from me. I quickly realized that if I didn't get the help that I needed right then and there, I was going to die in that vehicle because it's a ghost town. The only people that were out were the people that were going to the church. And they were walking further and further and further away from the truck. So I started screaming. I was like, ayúdame, no puedo respirar, like me voy a morir. Dead ass. It was like life and death, Bessie. I was shaking, my heart was racing, the adrenaline was pumping. No one could hear me because no one was looking back at me. So then from the back seat to the front, I start honking the horn, like really loud at the same time, like screaming, honking, screaming. So people start looking towards my way and they're like, who the hell is honking, right? Like they have that face like, what is going on? I'm thinking my cousin's gonna realize that that's the sound of his car, you know, because I wasn't honking like just once. I was like, da, 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 because I was trying to make it sound like an alarm. Because I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's gonna register that that's his car and he's gonna look back and he's gonna help me get out of his truck. Because I don't know, maybe he had child locks, you know, maybe he had other things. Who knows? It didn't work. You know what he did? Oh my gosh, Bessie, you know what he did? He didn't even turn around, Bessie. He just grabbed his car keys, didn't even look back, and locked it because he thought it was his alarm going off, right? He just locked his vehicle. That's when all hell broke loose. I was like, my mom, my cousin are not even looking back at me. They don't even realize that I'm not there with them. They keep walking. I see them enter the church, Bessie. I lost it. People started going inside the church. There was barely anybody outside. At that point, I realized that this was the day I was going to die. Like, I made peace with it. I was like, okay, just fade, Arsa. I was like, just fade into the truck. Like, just go to sleep. Like, that's how bad it was. Because it didn't matter what I did. I was hitting the windows. I was looking for things to break the window. Everybody would look towards the truck. But since his windows were so freaking tinted, nobody could see through the truck. All they could hear is somebody like banging the truck from the inside and the and the honk going off. And you know what that means in Mexico. Like somebody just got kidnapped. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like here where you're going to call the police or you're going to go check out to see what's going on. No. You look the other way in Mexico. As messed up as that sounds, people fear for their lives. It was getting really bad in that part of town. Through the window, I could see their faces like, do we help? What do we do? Do we mind our own business? Like, I could see the panic in their faces. And then finally, when I was like a little bit fading out, I was like, no, I'm not dying today. I don't know what came over me, but I was like, I'm not dying today. Absolutely not. Today's a very important day. I'm not going to miss this and I'm not going to die. So I started screaming again, like, I'm gonna die. I was like, me voy a morir. Like, no me están ayudando, me voy a morir. Finally, some brave man looks at his wife, looks back towards the truck, looks at his wife again. His wife looks at him and she's like, oh my God, my heart. Like, I started feeling alive again because I knew that meant he had the green light. Like, he was going to go help me. He started walking towards me. He looked more panicked the more he walked towards me because he realized that there was a girl in the truck, which was me. And I was like suffocating. So he goes up to the door and I'm thinking, how the hell is he going to open this door? I can't even open it from the inside. Like, what's going to happen? I'm just thinking, like, open the door. So he gets to the truck, takes a quick second. He looks at me. I see him looking in my eyes through the truck, even though he can't really see me. Like, I see him. I'm staring him down, like, help me, you know? He finally decides, like, he's going to do something about it. He puts his hand on the car door, and he simply opens the door. Like, nothing. Ooh. Girl, it was so hot in that truck that when he opened the door, the air that came in felt cool. I am dripping in sweat. My clothes are stuck to my skin. Like, my jeans are super stuck to me. My rolls are out. And when he opened the door, alarms go off. It's loud, Bestie, like super loud. And so everybody looks They see that I'm in distress, you know, I'm trying to keep my cool. I'm just like, thank you. And I close the door while the alarm is going off. I start walking to the church like nothing happened while the alarm is still going off. So they're watching me walk to the church. I'm speeding up like I don't want to be late, you know, and I don't want to be around these people. Like that was so embarrassing, you know. So on my way to the church while everybody's staring at me, you know what happens, Bessie? Take a wild guess. Just take a wild guess. If you guess that my heel broke, you are correct. In front of everybody. Oh my God, girl. So I had two options. Slide my feet all the way to the church or take off my shoes and walk in the hot ass ground to church. They're already judging me because of my clothes. I can't take off my shoes and go in there barefoot. You know what I mean? They're not going to let me in at that point. I'm not even picking up my feet. I'm literally dragging one foot, picking up the other, dragging the foot, picking it up. Like, I look crazy. But at this rate, I'm like, you know what? That's the least of my worries. Like, I just survived being locked inside of a truck in this hot ass weather. Like, it's fine. Nothing else can go wrong. Right? If you think the story's ending, it's not. Something always gotta go wrong, Missy. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I did something because I'm paying for something. So I see the lady that greets you at the front door in the church, and in my head I'm like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not gonna let her tell me that I can't go inside this church. She's about to greet me. She's about to tell me something, and I just speed walk right through her. I'm like sliding my leg hella fast. I didn't give her the chance to tell me anything, Missy. I walked in there and I had to go all the way to the front of the church. Woo! Everybody's looking at me. I'm seeing family I hadn't seen in years. Okay? Their first impression of me was a broken shoe, tight ass clothing, sweat everywhere, midriff showing, and girl, I got social anxiety. On top of everything, I suffer from social anxiety. You could see in my face that I was literally gonna pass out, but I was trying to keep my cool. I was like, today's not about me. Like, I'm just gonna get to the front of the pew and I'm just gonna sit my ass down and everything's gonna be fine, you know? I'm not even thinking after when we have to get back up and I gotta go walk to that freaking truck that almost killed me. Do you know what I'm saying? Trying to stay cool and collected. So I walk my ass all the way to the front of the freaking church. I see my mom and my cousin, and I just want to murder them. I let it go, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Just sit your ass down. I pass them. I go to the front. I see my cousins I hadn't seen in years. I'm looking all crazy, but I'm trying not to think about it. I sit next to my really nice cousin because I know she's not going to tell me shit. She's just like, oh, she's like greeting me with like a big ass smile. And the moment she smiled at me, I wanted to cry. I was so strong up until that point, but like that kindness from her brought my walls down. She asked me, she's like, oh my God, how have you been? I'm like, yeah, good. Like, couldn't be better. So the mass starts. I'm starting to like calm down. I stop sweating. I'm like finally breathing. I'm like, okay, everything's gonna be okay, you know. I start going through the motions of this ceremony. Sadness kicks in instead of panic at that point. But you know, in a Catholic mass, you gotta stand up like twice throughout the ceremony. So every time we had to stand up, I had to pull my shirt down so my back rolls weren't showing. I had to pull my pants up so my midriff wasn't showing. And then I would start sweating again because I'm thinking everybody behind me seeing skin and I bet they're judging me. And if I'm like sweating, I'm like, oh, you know? And my shoe's broken, right? But then when we have to sit down again, I start like calming down. I'm like, okay, everything's good. And then it comes to the kneeling. My cousin's next to me. She has her own kneeling, pew? I don't know what you call those, but she has her own kneeling thing and I got my own, and the priest tells us to kneel. And so, you know, I got a broken shoe, so like my balance is not that good to begin with, and I also weighed at the time 230 pounds, okay? And we're at an old ass church. Do you see where I'm going with this? Normally when you kneel, you don't put your whole weight, right? Like, you know, but since my shoe was broken, I slipped a little, my whole weight went down on my knee. And all you could hear in the silent ass church cousin looked at me and I went back to straight. I kind of looked like, what are you looking at? Like, everything's fine here. My way of trying to play it off was by kneeling in air. I didn't want to sit down or stand because everyone's going to look at me and probably think that I'm being disrespectful as fuck or that I broke the pew. So I put my arms on like the back of the bench and my arms were supporting my whole weight. Okay? My knees were in the air. I was not on the fucking little pew. Like, my arms were holding my whole weight. And so all you could see was this. You know, when they make you kneel, you're kneeling for a while. It felt like I was kneeling for hours, bestie. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't stand up. Like, I was already dedicated. Like, no. There was no way I was going to disrupt this mass more than I had already. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so finally the priest is like, okay, you can stand up now, girl. When he tells us to stand up, I'm freaking shaking because I'm numb in the legs. My arms are weak. I know the people behind me could tell what was going on. So I was just dreading the second kneel. Because if you didn't know, in a Catholic mass, they make you kneel twice. I did it for a second time. And if you're wondering what was so damn important in this mass that your girl had to suffer in silence, well, let me tell you, all of this, bestie, all of this happened during my dad's funeral. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He wanted to take my ass with him. So I figured I'd tell you the story of the time I was that, because, you know, spooky season's here. We're in the mood. We're in the festive mood. Oh, look. My fish tank is also in a festive mood. You know, the fish be putting up their decorations too. But yeah, let me finish my nails and I'll show you the finished product. These are the nails. And this is the brat's costume. Yo, see you next time. Bye, Miss. I love you.